Sorry.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. I am Tiffany Hall. I'm the host of tonight's Code Jam. Tonight, we have our software engineering students here, and they will be presenting all of their wonderful projects. A bit about me if you're new here. I am a graduate of the software engineering program at TripleTen, and I am currently a full stack engineer at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books and a powerhouse in the digital education space too. Tonight we have lots of teams that have all been working hard for the last 4 or 5 days to make sure that they have their presentations ready to show you. Let's talk about what a code jam is if you're not familiar. So if you're not familiar what a code jam is, it's not something like strawberry or grape. There is no Welch's. In this space, it's like a friendly competition where our developers get together and they get partnered off and paired off into teams, and then they all compete in a bloodthirsty sport where they get pride. Pride is just that's what we got to give. There are some prizes too, but mostly they're just from my cat. So if you get something with some litter, I'm so sorry in advance. But the rest of us will be enjoying all of the presentations tonight. So for the past 4 or 5, no, excuse me, 5 days. For the past 5 days, our teams have been working very hard on our presentations and our code. They have been given the prompt to make a minimum viable product, an MVP, as they say, that will help their community or local neighbors celebrate Thanksgiving. I am very much looking forward to this, as many of you are if you're watching in the US, because Thanksgiving's next week. And I don't know about you, but I got nothing planned yet. So hopefully tonight, by the end of it, I will at least have something planned. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about what our structure is. We're going to go through our teams. And then after our teams present, I'm going to ask them some questions because I like to get super nerdy and excited about the projects. All of our results are going to be, excuse me, all of our presentations are going to be judged next week, and then the results will be on November 29th. We will have an opportunity for some audience prizes as well as our first place in our code jam. So if you'd like to vote as an audience member, then you can certainly be putting those comments in the YouTube. You can also be checking on our social medias like our Instagrams, our Facebook. And if you are a student of ours, then you can check in the Discord channel. We will have a poll there for you to vote. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started with our presentations. So let's wish all the teams a very good luck. And we will get started tonight with Soless ADI, Team Soless ADI, which is Cole Essig and BJ Aroha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cole, and my partner is BJ. And our project's going to go live in here in just a second, and then I will talk about it for you guys. All right. So as Thanksgiving is approaching, and we had the idea for the Code Jam, BJ and I were kind of talking about how we can best, serve somebody and maybe take a little bit of the stress away from Thanksgiving, because it's just a time to be thankful, and the less stress you can have and the more time you can enjoy with your family, with friends, or whoever you decide to spend it with, the better. So we decided to kind of come up with something called like the recipe of thanks, or just the way to take out the hassle of planning and just make it a little bit easier. So more of the day is spent towards Thanksgiving, eating, and just hanging out with your friends and family. This website was kind of built in React and deployed in Vite, and we kind of based it off that way to give it a little bit more dynamic support. And right here in front of us, you can kind of see this is the homepage or the landing page for people. And my partner BJ spent a lot of time on it, and I think it personally looks fantastic. So I'm going to let him kind of start with the homepage and talking about all the things there. So go ahead, BJ.
Thank you, Cole. Thanks for that. Okay, so my name is BJ, and this homepage is basically like a design with warm and festive visuals, really inspired by Thanksgiving traditions. That kind of features like a central, Thanksgiving dinner table with a welcoming title of the recipe of thanks, and it's a call to button actually. as called the Read More. It's basically for the Thanksgiving saying for this website. And we have a seamless navigation that allows users to explore different sections, such as, the home, the about, and the recipes page. Basically like a curated of dishes to try, and it's designed using a Figma layout. So the layout combines the vibrant colors, which you see here, and the responsive design to provide an inviting and user-friendly experience basically on all devices. And this is off for the right here, our home and about us and the GitHub as well. And as you click at the initials, you'll see Cole. Click the BI initials, you'll see me, BJ or Benedict Raw. And so through this navigation, as we go to about recipe of things, so this is basically our information hub, and for users to understand the value of the platform and its commitment to enhancing their holiday experience. And it also hints the future plans that we will have for this website, and the advanced features such as the customized options and guest feedback on recipes. So yeah, this overall tone is very inviting. We really like the theme and the coloring, and which is why we went for this. So as I go back to the home page, I will be passing it on to Cole to explain the recipe section.
So the next part, the recipe section itself, is kind of where the bulk of the work and the help comes from. So we kind of put some generic recipes, something that typically is associated with Thanksgiving as kind of like a starting point for people, and that they can actually add new recipes themselves with the add recipe button. And then they can submit that and it'll actually repopulate the page with the new dish. And then so it goes into like the dish you want to add, and maybe a serving total, so you can kind of plan a little bit better about who's coming and how much they're going to eat, and then a link to that actually recipe. So if you share this page, someone else can go ahead and read the ingredients, see if there's any allergies there. And then one of the features we wanted to add later was actually taking the ingredients so people could check and see if there is any allergies there. If you want to check things off and say, hey, you know what, I know Aunt Nancy is going to bring the beans and someone else is going to bring the ham. You have all your recipes on one page and you can see exactly who has clicked what and what happens there. So you can plan a little easier and know who's bringing what. And then it has a guest list function on the left-hand side. So you can add all your guests, and it adds them, has the names, and then it has a little tally on the bottom to just make it a little easier to keep track of who's coming and what's being brought. And so this is just the recipe page, just one little step to make Thanksgiving a tiny bit easier and a little bit more fun and inviting.
Okay.
And that's pretty much our project.
All right, that's pretty fantastic. I didn't see any options for microwaving any of these ingredients, so I'm a little intimidated, but that's okay. I do want to talk I do want to talk a little bit about kind of how did you guys set up on that back side of things, the recipes? Are you like, can you walk us through your planning maybe for that? Why you decided to go one in a development, there's, a million ways to do everything. Why did you guys choose one way over another?
I set this page up in React in a use state, and then kind of made it so it was dynamically without having to re-render the page, and it would put everything on there, so it would pop up without having to really waste any time there. And I wanted it kind of set out in a card format, so it was easy to see. You could have hover effects, hover states, everything was kind of laid out in front of you, and that all of the effects are using React use states, so that on click effects and everything happen, and they're just generated on the page. So it's just fast, clean, and there's not too much code that can really go wrong there.
Fantastic. I love that. Yeah, I noticed the hover effect that you guys used in there. And it seems like there's a hover effect, but also there was like a thumbtack.
Yes, if you click, all the cards have a click thing, so you can keep track of like recipes that, hey, I have this one covered, and we need someone to bring the cranberries. It's the only one that's not clicked, so it just makes it a little bit easier to keep track of things.
Fantastic. And BJ, how was working, in a team with someone you've not worked with before?
It was great, actually. I've been to Code Jam before, which was July, and it's always a great experience just to hear what others have to say there and grasp their ideas as well. So it was a fantastic experience.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Well, you guys already have some fans in the chat in the YouTube. Uncle Tallest, who's one of our students, is well explained. Well explained. That was his comment. So, coming from a senior student, I think that's high praise. High praise indeed.
That's great. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
that is Soless ADI with Cole Ethic, BJ Iroha. Our next team is the Code Keepers. And so that is Joanna Hazel, Sean Dishman, and Imani Walker.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I do
So far,
have
you win for my favorite background.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Cole, you
You
got
said I have
booted.
your
I said,
favorite
so far.
background?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Cole, you got booted.
It's a blur. It's a blur. But yeah, that's my tapestry in the background. Didn't want it to be too distracting. All right, so I'm going to start my presentation for you. I did create a PowerPoint. Get it. All right, so I'm presenting our family gatherings app by the Code Keepers. That's it. I'm Joanna Hazel, and also I had assisting me Imani Walker and Sean Dishman. We created the app so that you'll have something that helps to celebrate Thanksgiving. Also, it makes it easy for the host to keep track of who's coming and what dishes they are bringing, and it also provides access to high quality traditional Thanksgiving recipes. So let's take a look. So we're welcoming you to join our Thanksgiving celebration from the user's perspective. The first thing you're going to see is the invitation. That, that is what it is. And then you have your guest list. So the guest list populates each guest's name, the dish they're bringing, and the additional guests that they're bringing with them. And then next section, you have our carousel, which we have all the dishes. There's about 10 in here. Each dish, the cards, you can see that there's 2 buttons, and you can click this button, bring this one, and that's going to populate the form where the guests can put in their name, what dish they're bringing, and how many guests they have coming. I'm going to put something in here really quick. Hey, me, dish, let's say yam. How many guests? Let's say 4, right? Oh, please. Oh, okay, I gotta put the whole thing. Mash. See. All right, and you see it populates on the guest list for the host. And you also have another button on the card which says see recipe, and it has the recipe for that dish, has the picture, the ingredients, directions, and there's some extra tips as well, just to make their dish really tasty. All right, and the screen is in my way. My computer screen is really small. Let me get back to my PowerPoint. Okay. All right, so the process. My group actually started as DevCore. I actually started with 3 other group members, and they all quit. So, and I was really excited about the Code Jam. So I was initially very devastated, very devastated. Thankfully, I was actually able to recruit 2 other people. They allowed me to recruit 2 other people because no one on the waiting list actually joined in. So I was able to recruit 2 other people, which was Imani. I knew her from LinkedIn. She's always been very inspirational, very supportive. So I was very happy to be able to work with her. And the other person, Sean Dishman, he was in my study group before, and I really respected his ability to work and code, his work ethic. So thankfully, they were willing to jump in and help me. They are amazing lifesavers because this meant a lot to me to be able to complete this. I didn't want to quit because everybody else did. I don't believe in quitting things. So I'm so grateful for them, and also their positive mental attitude. the whole time, like the engagement with them, the interaction with them, they were always positive. I was always positive, and it was just a wonderful experience working with the both of them. Challenges for this project, I would say the first challenge was the recipe data. Being able to convert the recipes, having to find them and convert them into data took me a few hours to do that. I didn't realize at first that it was going to take so long, but once I got started, like I said, I don't like to quit things, so I just stuck with the idea and just did it. The second challenge, I would say it's issue, but challenge we had was finding images. It was really difficult to find high quality images and that were free and also that looked well together on the screen. But me and Amani did work together on that and we did our best. Of course, if we had more time, it would look better on our application. Another challenge that we had was passing correct arguments. So working together in a team, one thing, if somebody's working on one part of the project and you're working on one side of the project, one thing that I noticed that, okay, how do we make it functional now? Because now things aren't functioning right because the arguments aren't passed correctly. So it was really important to pay attention to what this person passed and what you passed and make sure we're all passing what everybody needs. And the last challenge, I would say lack of time, of course, because by the time I recruited people to help me, we had like a day and a half. So we literally did this in a day and a half. So I didn't sleep very much. And, I was just determined to get it done, really. All right. Future development, of course, looking at it, it would be great to be able to create user accounts so that the user can log into their account and personalize it for their needs. Add recipes if they want to add recipes and delete the guests if they want to delete guests, because you don't want guests being able to delete the guests. So we didn't have the delete option on there. Also, event theme options would be great so that they can use it for different things other than Thanksgiving and be able to send invitations by email or text message or social media. Another good development would be to be able to print the recipes. I think that would be great. Also to populate a grocery list and be able to print the grocery list, and even possibly to partner with businesses for grocery delivery like Instacart, so that when the grocery list does populate, it populates probably in the Instacart like shopping cart, so they can check out and have those groceries delivered so they can start making the recipes to bring to the gathering. So that's it for my project. I do want to share a quick quote because that's me. I like to be inspirational. This is from Marie Curie. She's a scientist. Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance and above all confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing must be a thing. So thank you so much for your time.
Fantastic. Well, in the YouTube chat, they're giving you lots of accolades for your determined attitude, your willingness to stick with it, and recruiting teammates, right? So let's talk about that. One, I think that's a real testament to the community that you can build, right? That's certainly been my experience, and I talk about that quite a bit, but I'm so glad to hear that that's your experience as well. You were able to find people that you knew through the different avenues, and still stick with this project. But I'm more interested in why, I guess $1 million thought of why didn't you just give up? What was about participating in the Code Jam that felt so important to you?
I thought about giving up, but I really wanted to do the Code Jam. I wanted to have something extra to put in my portfolio to show on my resume. And honestly, I'm very competitive, and I went into it like I want to win. So once they quit after I made that recipe data, by the way. So
you did all the hard work.
Hours. Yeah, I spent hours making that recipe data. I was like, I am not just gonna quit. It's not gonna do it. So I was just determined to do my best to finish if I could.
Well, I'm so glad you did. I think it's really great. I really like that. One of the things that was challenging working on a team that you called out was passing the correct argument. That is something that's a real life situation, right? A lot of times, naturally, you have a little more planning time, but it can be really hard if you name something, turkey dressing, and the other one names it turkey stuffing. Now you don't know what to pass to who.
Right.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Jordan, so much for just sticking with it and going out there and finding your own team. That really speaks a lot to your character. So thank you
My
again.
pleasure. I appreciate your appreciation. I really do.
All right. So that is the Code Keepers with the indomitable Joanna Hazel and Sean Dishman and Imani Walker. Our next team competing is the Project Helping Hands team. And this is Lucy Brambilla, Christian Toe, Maurice Montague, and Angel Flores.
All right, so I'll share my screen.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Project Helping Hand. My name is Maurice, and here with me is Chris, Angel, and Lucy. Project Helping Hand is a nonprofit organization that supports food pantries, free clothing stores, and housing shelters across the U.S. We believe in the power of community and aim to connect people with the resources they need. This Thanksgiving, we are focused on helping families access food, meals, and housing support. By working with local organizations, we aim to ensure no one goes without these essentials and bring people closer together during this special time of year. In the header section, whenever a user clicks on the nag bar, it takes them directly to the section of the web page, all thanks to our anchor links inside the HTML. Also, our company's logo is symbolic to our determination for helping the community. I would like to pass it on to Lucy.
Thank you, Maurice. Hello, I'm Lucy. I would like to introduce my section here. This is the About section with this paragraph. It describes our organization and purpose. When putting this together, I added a hover effect to better direct the attention of the user. I also want to mention that our website is reactive to different screen sizes. So like Christian is demonstrating. And I also wanted to share how we brainstormed ideas on Figma. So here we put together a color palette, came up with our logo, and also assigned sections accordingly, just to kind of organize ourselves a little better. But I'll go ahead and pass it along to Christian so he can introduce the sections.
Thank you. My name is Christian Toe, and I created a section called Sheltering the Community. I used the React components and object passing the arguments with use state and use effect, which is showing you why, how, and where to help the community fight homelessness. And then you change color based on which tab you click on, and there's images and information on how to and where to help. And another section that I created is keeping the community warm. This is a map to show how people can find clothing donation locations, which also can be filtered by this button on the bottom left-hand corner. It's a floating button with a fixed position, and you can click on it and you can choose out of 5 major cities. So once you click on a city, the map would update to the city. So then you can easily find your local donation locations. This also connects to Angel's section.
Thank you, Christian. Hi, my name is Angel. I worked on the food section, which is meant to connect people to Thanksgiving food resources in the area, um, addressing food insecurity and celebrating community. As you can see, we have resource cards here, which are meant to display details like location, contact info, hours, and a visit page button that opens the resources official site to a new tab. As of right now, it's just an object array of hard data, of real resources to their live websites. I also want to mention that city selection updates the resources dynamically. This is implemented with React's use state and use effect for filtering and rendering location-specific data. So yeah, now I'll pass it over to Lucy, who worked on the national organization section to show how Helping Hands connects people with larger scale resources.
Thank you, Angel. So yes, national-wide organizations. These organizations are available all across the country. We wanted to ensure users had access to these resources on a web page as easy as clicking on their link. It will bring them to their website as well. So just kind of, keeping everything, at their fingertips and all the information in one place was very important to us. But I'll go ahead and pass it back to Christian. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So here's on the footer in Meet the Helping Hands. So there's links to each team member's GitHubs, and I'll pass it back to Maurice. Maurice,
Okay.
you're muted.
Sorry, guys. Yes, in closing, at Project Helping Hand, we're all about community, connection, and care. This Thanksgiving, we're making sure no one goes without the essentials, whether it's food, a warm meal, or a safe place to call a home. By teaming up with local organizations, we're working together to spread warmth and support, bringing people closer and developing as a community. Now, let's make a difference, one helping hand at a time. Thank you.
Wow, that was wonderful. I'm just so overjoyed. And clearly, lots of people watching are as well. I have some friends who are very familiar with this who are texting me currently while they're watching your presentation to try and cast their votes because they want to make sure that your team gets heard. So hello out there to Felicia who's voting via chat. I mean, really just overwhelming the amount of work you guys were able to put in 5 days. Let's talk a little bit about the amount of communication that this takes. Now, I know this isn't a lot of you, this isn't your first code jam. So how did the communication compare this time versus your first time?
Oh, yeah. I'll answer that. So this time we made a lot of we coded together for several components. So we did
pair programming?
So we did Discord meetings, video share screen. So we shared our screen, and then we just some of us just pitched in to help with the logic and help with the arguments with passing the objects through, and also helping teaching React to Lucy and Maurice because they were not at that point yet. So this time we taught React, and they brought it up pretty well. And yeah, so I think a lot of more team meetings helped a lot with communication.
It sounds wonderful. There's so many pieces, Christian, that that I think is really important to highlight. One, the amount of pair programming that you this time around were able to access with your teammates. I mean, everyone who works with me knows I'm a sucker for pair programming. I feel like, the more brains we can get into a piece of code, the better, right? But I think user Flourish on our YouTube chat is going to be also impressed with that, because right now they're on sprint 4, and I get emails constantly about people going like, I don't know if I'm far enough in the program. I don't know if I've learned enough. But I think you mentioned a great point of like, Lucy, for example, you hadn't learned React just yet, but that's pretty normal. When you go to a job, you may not know the full tech stack, right? So, Lucy, how was it for you kind of learning in such a compressed time frame?
It was honestly, I do have my team to thank for. They were just putting time aside. I think that was very important. And also supporting, as far as like, I'll teach you, taking the initiative of, hey, you're having trouble with this. Let me go ahead and I have time later today, and then we'll just get together. So I think we prioritized very well, just getting together and, covering those points where we were, we showed we needed any sort of help. And I had a great team, and we helped each other a lot, and I'm just very grateful. This has been a very, very great experience for me. I honestly did not know what to expect, and especially coming into it, straight out of sprint 4, like literally the week before I joined, I had a meeting with my success manager, and she was like, you know what, you're getting close to wrapping up. Let me go ahead and like get you the right connections. We're gonna put you in this next jam. Like it's starting literally next week. And, coming in and seeing everybody, I was a little intimidated because some people were far ahead, and I'm like, am I really gonna, have what it takes to not like pull my team back, but, you know, like pull my own weight and really just,
Yeah.
accomplish what we had in mind. And I honestly, like I said, I have my team to thank. They were always there, and we had a lot of meetings, and sometimes we were just all, muted there, putting ideas together, texting on the chat, screen sharing was a big thing. So yes,
Okay,
it
great.
was
Great
it
tip.
was honestly, their support really helped a lot push through.
No, that's a great tip, I think, especially because again, Flourish is certainly not the only student out there that is in Sprint 4 wondering like, is this the right time? I just don't know. But also just a real testament, Christian's an old hand at this now, and so I'm glad to hear that he's able to pass on his knowledge, as well as many of the others. There's several of old friends on this call that have done this a time or two before, so it's really amazing. Thank you guys so much for presenting. That is Project Helping Hands with Lucy Brambila, Christian Toe, Maurice Montague, and Angel Juarez. All right, next up is the Java Jedis. So we all know the Force will be with them. Let's hope the audience votes will be with them as well. This is going to be Robinson Kelly, Brandy McDill, and Emma Wolk. You can't use the Force. You actually have to hit the share screen button. There you go. You got it. I'm the only one who can see it if you use the Force.
All right. So yeah. So it's
Brady.
Okay, so sorry, 1 second. Gideon.
So to start us off, one of the people helping us, Emma, isn't able to make it today, so she recorded a short video to help us out, explain it. Me and Brandy are more on the earlier sprints, while Emma was, I think, sprint 14. So she did some of the back end stuff. With the current website, it's not fully implemented yet, but I think in her video she goes through and explains what we intended with it. I ended up merging it last second, so we didn't have the right API information that she was using with the back end.
And here's the video.
Brandy, I think you're going to need to stop sharing and then reshare. And when you click share, there's going to be a little option there to share with sound.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not a problem at all. I did like 3 years remote teaching, like a lot of teachers recently. So I am very well versed in the share screen woes.
Hi, my name's Emma, and I worked with Randy and Robinson to make the back end of this cool Thanksgiving app. I wanted to show you, so this is the front end that they made, and this is the non-final form. They'll show you the cooler form. I made a backend API to store the recipes so that you can refresh and come back and save your recipes. But what I also did that I'm proud of is I made it so that you can add a recipe. Let's say chocolate pie, and just gonna make the pie and click that it's a dessert. And when you add it, it actually sends a call to a OpenAI API, and it gives you a recommendation for anything that you put in. It gives you the drink pairing suggestion, and that comes from the OpenAI app. So that's, here's, like I said, sort of partially done version of the front end. And here's how I organized my backend code. I had a hard time pushing it to GitHub because it has the OpenAI key in it, which it won't let you share, and it wouldn't let me push after I deleted it. But that is the functionality. You can see for a lot of these, it recommends white wine, but it recommends cider for the pumpkin cheese ball, or Chardonnay for this, and red wine. And that all comes from the OpenAI app, which connects and then saves in the RESTful API that I made for the recipes. Thanks.
All right, and here's the web page. This is what it looks like. Of course, it starts off with the appetizers, main dishes, and then desserts. And all of them, like, you click on the picture and it shows you like the ingredients needed and the directions. And then, of course, because I don't have the extra extensions, it doesn't actually show the drink suggestions, but you know what it's supposed to look like. And then we also have the option where people can add their own recipes, like you saw there too.
I just want to add that kind of when we were organizing it, we split that. Brandy took the hard part. She did all the designing and the CSS part, while I worked more on the JavaScript side, which with the recent projects, a lot of this was pretty similar to what we've done before with modals, and then making sure things would do pop-ups, stuff like that. And so with the JavaScript, I was working on making sure the nav bar would hide the other recipes while making the ones I wanted visible. And then with the modal, when you add the recipe, making sure when you hit the radio button, it goes to the right list. I used an array. I know Emma didn't mention it, but she was working on doing it through like a database and rendering it that way. But I didn't have that that knowledge, so I just did it through array lists for each section, and then when you hit the radio button, just make sure that it sends it to that right array of recipes. Yeah. Brandy, do you want to talk about like all the hard work you did?
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't say it was hard work because I enjoyed it too much. But literally, like, when we first started this, I it was kind of like one of those things like, so what are we doing? Like, what's going on? So I was like, went into Figma and was like, look, this is what I'm thinking. And like, already had the idea for like the recipe and then the drink suggestions and stuff. I was fully prepared to just like go in and like look up like randomly what drinks would go with certain ingredients. And then Emma came up with this brilliant idea to use AI. And I was like, yes. So like that was pretty great. And then like, so immediately after this, like I went in and just like threw together some of the HTML. And of course, Rob like added in and helped me out with that. But like I kind of like went like full steam ahead, like tackling the CSS just because I could be a little nitpicky and stuff. So like I handle that. And then I also have it so it's adaptable for mobile.
All right, that is fantastic. I really appreciate the mobile adaptability because I don't know if anyone else is going to be looking at their laptop while they're cooking, but I'm certainly going to be checking out the pairings and the recipes for that French silk pie thing with the Oreos. That looks amazing. I think the question that I first want to ask is, Brandy, can you center a div now? Because that is the seemingly hardest thing to do. But it sounds like you worked super hard on all of the CSS.
Yeah, it was. So like my main thing I actually had issues with was when like this whole area, like all that, like it was like going everywhere, super condensed, like all together, like it was crazy. So like
yeah, it's using a string literal and it wasn't doing white space correctly, so it made Brandy's life a little harder. So
let's talk
me
about
and
that
Rob
choice
were
there,
doing some
Rob.
Googling the last couple hours yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I think we used, it was pre something, right, Brandy? Because I
Yeah.
said pre, that still messed it up, and you found what we really needed.
Oh yes, let's get into the code here.
Yeah. Old projects popped up.
So Rob, what made you go with straight JavaScript instead of going with kind of something React componentized?
I didn't have the experience with it yet, so I didn't feel super comfortable.
Great answer. Yeah.
Emma was the
Totally
only one
okay.
in the group that far along.
That's okay. No, I mean, you know, that's the thing, right? When you go into an interview, you're not going to know every possible tech stack. So being able to make what you know work is the important part. No, it's super fascinating in terms of you know, communication. I know you had said that so like Emma was using APIs in the back with the keys and the connection. Was it simply a time situation in terms of that, or is it just that piece of like running out of like ideas and ability to connect? Because I know that one of the tough parts for all of this, right, is connecting the front end to the back end. That's the tough part in all things, right?
So Emma was pretty busy. She's like got a lot of family stuff going on too, so she was
dance classes.
yeah, and working. So it was kind of hard to communicate in that sense. And then I know she was kind of like working in her free time. But we were trying to go over it together, and we just kind of ran out of time. I know that last day she was really busy, so we were kind of running out of time to communicate with that.
Sure.
But it was definitely communication was a good lesson with this. I know I was sick the first couple of days, and then like me and Brandy were like working crazy the last day because I would do something, merge it, and it'd mess up what she was doing. And so we'd go back and forth trying to communicate properly. And then,
merge conflicts, right?
yeah, I learned a lot about going through them and reading all the code to make sure, oh, okay, this isn't going to mess it up. Make sure to merge this one. And
yeah, it's really important when working with a team. All right, Brandy, you found our pre-line here, huh?
Yep. That's what we used to be able to like, so it's not so squeezed together. And so you could actually tell the individual ingredients, stuff like that.
Wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen that configuration before. I'm going to have to look that one up. Like Uncle Tallis says in the chat, right? You know, Stack Overflow and Google, those are the best friends.
Yep.
So Well, thank you guys so much for presenting and so much for all of your hard work. I love that you guys went really stem to stern, right? From Figma all the way to Open API to deployment. So really wonderful. Again, that is the Java Jedis with Robin Kelly, Brandy McDill, and Emma Wolk. Our next team is the Code Stuffers, which is hilarious. That is going to be Sebastian Sanchez, Gil Hermelin, and Prasanna Javuri, and Johanna Snell.
Hi, thank you. I'm Prasanna Duvuri. So today I'm going to represent my team. The others couldn't attend because of the work conflicts, but I have the recordings and everything. So yes, we are the code stuffers because we stuff our website with good and delicious food. I'm going to share it. One sec. Yep. So this is our website. So we created a Friendsgiving menu planner. And so I worked on the navbar design and also this add dish form. So where we can add a dish name, and here I gave an option to select one of these appetizers, main course, side dish or dessert, and then they could save it. And these are our contributions. This is the dinner menu where you could see the starters, side dishes, and everything. We also added a RSVP list, and they could RSVP before they add their dish and everything. So to organize our workflow and everything, we used the Trello board to split our tasks and everything. So we did good job in this one. So help in splitting up the tasks and giving the comments, which one we need to do and everything. So we also used the Figma design to no, just to give up a design how it looks like and everything. So still we have some backlogs because we thought if we could have enough time, so we could add a edit button along with this delete button, so that if they want to edit their dish or anything, they don't have to delete and add their dish again. So due to the again time conflicts, we didn't get to that part yet. And also we wanted to set this countdown timer though, so that the user could set their own time instead of we set it, so that they could set their own time and everything. So my portion for this one is like working on this country navbar and this adding dish. And this is our RSVP list. They can see their who you know put their name in the RSVP and everything. So Sebastian worked on this contribution. So there is a good another function which we can click on the view ingredients. Could flip the card so that here you can see the ingredients to help their dietary and allergy information. So I'm gonna share the Sebastian contributions next. I'm gonna play that video. Thank you.
All right, Prasanna, I'm going to have you do the same thing as Brandy. I'm going to have you stop sharing. And then when you go to
Sorry.
reshare, I'm going to
I
have you
need to
make sure
reshare.
you look down.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. And then click the share with sound.
Can you hear this?
No, ma'am, I cannot.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, share with
It
sound.
wouldn't.
Now I see it. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, it's okay. It gives me an opportunity to say hi to Reuven, who just joined in the chat. Reuven is a big supporter and student and friend. Christian is, do you want to like wave hi? I know you guys are like BFF.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Sanchez and I'll be presenting my contributions to our Friendsgiving Menu Planner product. My work focused on drafting the project and designing the contributions section, including the interactive cards. I drafted the project in Figma to allow our team to have a clear visual roadmap of how each section would look and function. I also created the group repository on GitHub and established the BEM file organization to make it easy for the team to collaborate on. Next, I developed the HTML structure for the project. For the cards in the contribution section, I utilized template tags which allow us to populate it with data from the backend. This portion right here. From a design perspective, I focused on ensuring the cards were responsive and visually cohesive, using CSS Grid to create 2 columns with appropriate spacing and padding. One of my most significant features or contributions was implementing the interactive card flipping feature. Each card has 2 sides. In the HTML, I created a card front and a card back. And then in CSS, I added perspective 1000 pixels to the card class to give it a 3D effect. And then in the card front and back, I used transform rotate Y 180 degrees to hide the back of the card by default. And the card class transitions smoothly between states with transition transform 0.8 seconds ease in out. In JavaScript, I added event listeners to the buttons. The view ingredients button adds a flip class to the card, which triggers the flip by rotating the front side out of view and the back side into view. Then the go back button removes the flipped class, returning the card to its original state. As such, one challenge I faced was ensuring the newly added cards could flip without refreshing the page. I solved this by adding event listeners to each card as it was rendered, regardless of how many cards were added or removed. That concludes my contributions to the project. Thank you for listening.
So that is my teammate Sebastian. He worked on the contributions. He did so much, hard work on putting in that. After he added the card again, like, Rob said, it matched our the own code. Again, we have to go back and okay, what happened again? So it's fun and it's, very nice. Next I'm gonna share Gail recording. He is our backbone, the team. So he worked on the back end and everything. So he's our backbone.
Hey guys, my name is Gil. I'm a recent graduate from the software engineering program, and I am super excited that I got to participate in the Code Jam. So our project, the Friendsgiving Menu Planner, is a collaborative web app that helps users plan and manage their Friendsgiving dinner by sharing dish contributions, RSVPing for the event, and tracking the menu in real time. I handled the backend development and key front-end features, including the RSVP list, dinner menu, and the countdown timer. Using Node.js and Express, I created a REST API with MongoDB to manage dish and RSVP data, implementing CRUD operations for easy creation, updating, and deletion of menu items. I also integrated the backend dish management with the front end, rendering dishes into categories, ensuring proper data formatting. On the front end, I implemented a dynamic RSVP list and added a countdown timer that updates every second using JavaScript's set interval function, showing the time remaining until the event. Throughout the project, my team and I worked together closely to ensure smooth integration between the back end and the front end, focusing on creating clear, well-documented code using comments. I feel like this project really emphasized the importance of collaboration and communication, and it was an absolutely awesome experience to work with my team and learning how to solve challenges together. I am really looking forward to more projects like this in the future, and just want to thank everyone involved. And yeah, thanks guys for checking out our website.
That is my another teammate. So we only 3 team members. Johanna, I don't know, she didn't join the team, so we are 3. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was great. It seems like you guys worked really well together in terms of putting all of the pieces together. Can you click on the cards again? I want to see that card action that they worked on. That is cool.
Yes.
I really love that. Super amazing. That is definitely one of those moments where I'm like, I think all of us on the call are going, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal just that little blip of code and use that in something. In
How do you like
so,
it?
Prasanna, what is something you really liked about the whole experience? Did you like doing the front end stuff, the back end stuff, doing the Figma? What did you enjoy the most?
Front end. The backend drives me crazy. You know, one conflicts because when we are trying to delete this one, it is deleting it from the cards, but somehow it's still showing it in the side dishes. So we are working on that, working on that, working on that. Finally, I thought I figured it out. So I told my teammates, I got it, I got it. So after that, before submission, we got to know that we need to refresh our page to actually see that it is deleted. So I said, okay, I'm not I'm not working on that. So front end I enjoyed a lot. And another thing I enjoyed is like working with my teammates, like how we organized and everything, the workflow and everything. And every night at 11 o'clock, we used to connect by a call, giving the updates via the Zoom
I love that.
meetings. And yeah,
You guys had your own little stand up, but at nighttime.
yes,
So
they
it's
work at
great.
night times, I work at in the daytime. So it's hard, but somehow we managed.
Yeah, I mean, and that's real, right? Like I know that we only have a few time zones here in the States, but
Hi.
on real teams, you're gonna have people who are working in Ghana, people who are working in Tokyo. I mean, time zones are a real thing. So I'm
Yeah,
glad you
we
guys were able
three
to figure
three
time.
time zones. Yeah, we three time zones. MST, CST, and EST is like okay.
You got to
Either
pick
early
one and
morning or late.
go.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you again so much. I appreciate you being able to demonstrate all of your hard work, especially with your teammates. So
Thank
that is,
you.
again, that is the team code stuffers, some stuffing delicious code into the holiday. And that is Sebastian Sanchez, Gil Hermelin, and Prasanna Duveri. All right, our last team for the evening. So if you are, apparently everyone, by the way, Prasanna and Gil and Sebastian, everyone very much enjoys the flipping of the cards. So I'm sure that all of your fellow teammates will be looking out to reach out in your DMs and get that code snipped from you. Maybe put it up on a code pen. All right. Our last team of the evening is the Friendsgiving Jam. And so I am very excited to introduce the team of Albert Reyes, Muachi Thao, Stuart Clark, and Christia Anderson.
Hello, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. All right, well, our team, we got together, we decided that we were going to create an event planner that basically right now it's focused for Friendsgiving. And I have lived in China for like 10 years. And so Friendsgiving was my way of celebrating Thanksgiving, but so we never had something like this to help us to plan for it. So I'll go ahead and get started. We have created a header. We have used React. I remember in my last CodeJam, I had used JavaScript, and a big goal was to use React in the next CodeJam. So we got that working. And so here we have on our first page the event, how you create an event, and the steps to create that event to share with your friends, and possible event ideas that you could also incorporate this website if you want to create events that are different. And so you would come here. So let's give it an event name. You can ignore my list there because that was for testing. And let's say that it is in Los Angeles. You select your date. But before I do that, I also want to show you that if you go to my event, you'll see that it does not allow you to, it doesn't show you anything. It lets you know that you need to create an event in order to get there. So you create that event, Friendsgiving, and the location, and then the date. And all of the information that you input into here will then show up on the next page. And I was involved in creating the React repo and basic structure in the very beginning. So this part right here, that was one of the things that I did. And yeah, so all the information is here. And when it comes to Moachi's turn, I will allow him to go ahead and explain what he did, as this is his beautiful section. And then we also have the About Us, which is going to be shared by Stuart Clark, and the Home and the Footer section, which is going to be shared by Albert Reyes. So essentially that's what you would do, and you would add dishes, and then when you add a dish, you also say the name of the person who's bringing a dish. So each friend is like, oh, I'm going to bring this. They write their name, that gets added. And he will, when Moachi speaks, I'm sure he will show you that there is an edit, there is a delete button, there's a clear all button. And so it's very interactive in that way. So if you made a mistake, no problem, you can go ahead and edit that. Yeah, so some of the challenges was, of course, like I told you, like a big goal for this code jam was to incorporate React. So that was very interesting. And I would say that I have a really great team, and everybody picked up React really fast, and they were already using it, like importing the images and all that stuff. And I just say, okay, I'm going to teach it to you. Like, if you want to create the link, just do this. And then they would take over and they would make all the different links. And you'll see, like in the footer, for example, that each of these will connect to links. They did, like, everybody just learned really quickly. So I was very, very excited about that. And also, of course, another challenge was, the general Git merge, Git pull, get all of that. So we tried to separate our tasks as much as we could. In some cases, I was working with Moachi on React, so we resolved our conflicts together. And so, yeah, that's always a challenge, I feel. But also, I think it's like one of the big bonuses of doing a code jam is you get to learn how to work around that really well. And then, of course, was people's schedules, because everybody's working and stuff like that. And I got sick. So like, just you have to kind of go with the flow. And also when everyone is there, you show up and try, and everyone works together to work things out. So I'm going to go ahead. So as I said, the header and this section was what I created. And next, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Albert Reyes to tell you about the Create an Event page.
Hello, everyone. My name is Albert Reyes. What I worked on was the about the create an event today section and the footers, the event ideas section and the footer section here at the bottom. Mainly it was just kind of going through the elements and just trying to put like ideas together to, steps on how to create the event. And then to add a list of food that you want to bring, and then, share it with your friends. One of the challenges I feel like that I faced was mainly um, finding images. So what I found was Canva was a really great place. It just kind of helped me create my own images instead of trying to look for images. Um, and this gradient thing that we worked on here, I saw Christy add a little bit of that, and I kind of added it at the bottom, but just flipped over, so it kind of looked like one big card instead of, just kind of following the pattern of our website. And then here at the event ideas, I just kind of added, other ideas that you can um, plan for. So it's not just Thanksgiving, but you can also do like Christmas and birthdays and New Year's. Just like something that can help you plan your events and, make planning easier for you and your friends. I had a lot of fun working with our team. Definitely learned a lot. One of the things I learned was more about the get pulls and get pushes. We worked on it. I had just actually finished learning about it on Sprint 4 and I was on Sprint 5. So actually doing it was kind of fun, because learning something is one thing, but then actually doing it is a whole nother thing. So putting that into practice was kind of fun to do. It wasn't really too crazy with it. I didn't see a lot of conflicts on our end, but Christy really helped us stay on track, and Moichi really helped us with the back end stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was a easy process, to be honest. Me and Stuart kind of had the easy part, but for the most part, it was just, putting our ideas all together, communicating and getting it done. So it was a lot of fun. And then I'll pass it on to Stuart.
No, actually, it's Moichi.
No, oh, Moichi, sorry.
Thank you, Albert. My name is Mochi, and I was working on the add dish feature list. So the users can add their dish names and their names that they will bring to the event, and there's the list, and they can edit the list. They can edit their names or their dish names, and they can save it and it will stay there, and they can add more or uh yeah, and they can delete their item list. Yeah, and they can clear all the lists if they want to. And yeah, so that's the parts that I was working on for this project, and I have learned a lot about Git from Christia. She's really amazing because she knows a lot about Git, and I have a lot of experience from it. Yeah, thank you, and I'll pass to Stuart.
All right. I'm trying to make sure if I'm sharing this right. I'm trying to click share, but it's not allowing me to. Do you see my, oh,
Go ahead and give it a shot now.
share. Okay.
Much like on our Git, I do not like merging conflicts.
Just why is this happening? It's not allowing me to share.
Want me to share and then you speak about your section?
Yeah, go ahead, share the about us section. But I kind of wanted to show that you can show the code too, actually.
You want me to show the code? I can show the code.
But go ahead and show the about us page first. So right here is the about us page. Actually, like Al said, we had the easiest part of the project, to be for real. Christina and Moichi did the back end of all that stuff and had us learn React. What I did was, if you can pull up the code for me, Christia, for the about us, was the newest thing that I kind of learned about was using the React inside of the program of VS Code, and literally all it was it's pretty much the same thing with HTML. It just has kind of some of the JavaScript and stuff of that all in one place. So we kind of used like the way if you go to the top of the code, you see the imports of the images and the links to make the web page responsive. I used that to get our pictures there, the link as well. If you go back to the page, you will see that when you click on our names, when you click the little buttons there, or when you go hover over the buttons, they're reactive, and then you click it, it'll take it to the GitHub and to the LinkedIn as well. You can literally click it and it's just gonna click it. Yeah, it's just gonna go there. It's just that link. She actually kind of taught me that code for that, which was a beautiful thing. So that was a good new thing that I learned there. And I guess the hardest part for me about the project was definitely everybody else's thing, was the pushing and pulling and merging and it not messing up. Because the funny thing is on mine, if I showed my screen on my event page, I need to actually still merge or get the actual up-to-date copy, because my event, the random one that I made, is still up there and it stays there. It's just weird. So it's like this old code that's in there. But other than that, for having the easier parts of literally making our cards spacing it out, CSS, it was all the beginning stuff. So honestly, for me, the project was a smooth thing, just interacting with my team, helping them with things in the design part. Kind of reminded me of working on MySpace. So it was pretty easy and simple for me in that way. But it was a fun thing to do. Definitely seeing all our different skills and bringing our brains together to make something work. And I feel like for if I wanted to work on something for the next time, definitely because I saw in the other guy's project, it was like on the About Us, it kind of had like a fake address and a location and all this stuff like that, that, actually makes us feel like we exist. So just putting those, implementing those ideas there along the way to like build up a better even website to put on the resume is going to be an interesting thing. We'll keep it open, keep it ready to go so we can all work on it and make it better for ourselves in the future to show off. But other than that, the project was beautiful. Everybody had good ideas, and it was like, because I'm used to working by myself. Obviously, I only am on Sprint 6, but I've been doing it by myself. So having those other brains in there definitely did make it easier and faster to learn. And like, you got to that end result instead of hours of you just banging your head on the wall. So it was great. It made me more comfortable with what I was doing and like made it more comfortable to learn. So that was a good thing. I enjoyed working on it, and I was scared. I was nervous in the beginning. I was like, "Ugh, am I ready for a code jam?" I'm not quite sure, but I was like, "Nah, I can't be scared. Let's go. Let's do this." And I'm glad I did because I feel more comfortable. And that's it for me, honestly, on our part. I think that's it. That's our website. We got our home, our creative event about us.
I
And
did I did want to show the mobile side if I could, right
go ahead.
before yeah. Can I share my screen real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to share this real quick because we did work hard on this. It was just, being able to implement the mobile side, make sure everything, works all together, and then instead of it being the display flex a row, but now it's a horizontal. So I mean vertical. So that was kind of fun to do, and just seeing how it would look like on an actual phone. So you can, take it with you and not just have to use it as a desktop. I thought that was kind of cool and a lot of fun.
Oh, this is super wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing this up. I don't think people who are not doing this work understand the amount of work it takes to
Yeah.
make something responsive at all of these different screen sizes.
Yeah.
So, especially you guys have so much going on your page to keep it so nice and clean that it doesn't look wonky. Because we've all been to those websites, haven't we? Where you've got like turkey pie hanging off the side of the screen. So this looks amazing. I think you guys did a great job with this.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
Christy, I'm going to ask you the question first. I'm going to go ahead and stop your screen there, Alex, so I can see everybody. I'm going to ask you the question first. How was this time around compared to your first Code Jam?
So the first Code Jam, I remember we were like, okay, we're gonna have to find a way to get all of our code together, but none of us were familiar with Git. Like we knew the theory, but in practice, and if you have bugs,
Sure.
you know what the bugs mean, like you have to like figure it all out and learn it as you go. So it was a lot more work in that aspect to get that working. This time I felt like more confident in that. So then I was just like, okay, guys, like here's the step by step. And then also trying to like explain like why we do those steps, like what's going on. But essentially everybody as a collaborator was just kind of like merging when it was time to merge. So it wasn't like we were doing it through Git, like a full on pull request and then like checking the code and then accepting it, which is I guess the next step, right? So that was cool. And yeah, I feel like everybody was great to work with. Like, yeah, it was good. It was good. Our the schedules are a little bit different because I feel like a lot of people had to like work and stuff, so we would always like have to meet a certain time. But yeah, everybody, I think it was great.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, there's definitely the using Git in practice is I think one of the more daunting things because it's that responsibility, right? Of like, I don't want to push this and mess up somebody else's work because you know how long it takes.
Yeah,
So I think that's great. You guys got in there. Stuart, I want to ask you a question about, you had talked about like you had been going it alone, right? Your solidarity trudge through all of the projects. But then, now you've worked with some other people. Do you think that you'll try to do more pairing as the weeks go on, or
Oh, sure, for
do
sure.
you think
Actually,
you'll?
I've already even had an idea already cooking up for this, for the people who are in TripleTen that are on the side of Chicago. Cause
Yeah,
yeah, because I was living out there and I knew a bunch of musicians and people who were just in the city. So like working on this project just almost reassures the ability for definitely to get a bunch of heads together that are working on websites and stuff like that to plan something and get something done. And we'll be doing that
yeah,
for fun. We'll be doing that on our own time is the way I see it. But like a website for like in Chicago for like, I feel like I'm almost kind of making it to where like all the musicians of all different genres, no matter what genre you come from, can kind of have this place to where you can show like and hook your other websites from Instagram and all that to this location, and you guys can
that would be
see,
cool.
yeah, where they're, who's all playing where, who's the biggest artist in this part of the city, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
really bringing the melting pot of the music into one place for their own website. I feel like it's gonna be big. So like that was kind of like really giving me that push to be like, okay, yeah, let's do this for real. And like
absolutely.
definitely talking with people and communicating and making people
Yeah,
comfortable to do the work together was a good experience for sure.
I think
and I
that's a really great point.
I
Mhm.
can't say that like I taught Stuart how to do some things and then I was just like, okay, go ahead, like take over, teach the when because we were all in different schedules. So I was like, if someone
That's
shows up,
right.
like, them how to do it. Like we all are working together again.
Yeah, the team aspect I think is again, it's definitely the thing that that is the most important, that I think it's something that we don't get as like a hard skill. But I had a team lead named Wilkins, and he would always tell me like, the best part about this job, the most important part about this job is the relationships. It's not about networking, it's about the relationships, right? Because two brains are better than one, four brains are better than two. But then, being able to work with people to bring your community together, like you're doing with this idea for Chicago, like how wild is that? That gets to come out just through all the people and the relationships, so um really commendable. I do hope you guys kind of hinted that you might be keeping this site up and like expanding on it. I do hope you guys do that, because you guys
Yeah.
have some really great transitions, and some really great responsiveness. And I think that this could really build in a fun way that people can be using it not just for your portfolio, but right, like actually using it. You can
That
go
would
through
be
that
cool.
user feedback round.
That
Yeah,
would
we were
be
actually thinking about adding like a recipes suggestion, for parties, like some parties like certain things and like, you can drink like drinks that you can make or food that you can make to certain parties. So there's definitely things we want to add to the part to the website maybe later on.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And Albert, while I've got you here, I wanted to talk about, you were talking about React versus JavaScript, and kind of how did that land for you? It seems like it went pretty well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely not at that sprint yet, but we just, we did what we could and we learned. We Googled a little bit and definitely a lot of teamwork. I remember me and Stuart were kind of on and we were just thinking like there's got to be a way. Let's just look at the code that's there and let's engineer it, let's go backwards and let's figure out how this is working and let's try to do it ourselves and Google it and then Tia comes in and she helps us out. I mean Christina, she comes in, she helps us out and then it just was a lot of fun learning like kind of on the job, like just not knowing
Yeah,
how to do it and it just shows like that's the programmer's mentality, you don't know how to do it but you figure it out, you're a problem solver. So that was a lot of fun.
yeah, that's right. Well, thank you guys again so much for sharing your project. I can see you guys put a lot of time and effort into it, and I think it's just wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, that was Friendsgiving Jam with Albert Reyes, Muach Thal, Stuart Clark, and Christia Anderson. All right, so that is going to wrap up our evening, right? Those are all of our teams tonight. I want to say that, like, from all of us at TripleTen, I can't thank you guys enough for being here, for having the courage, but also the vulnerability to show all of your work. 5 days is not a long time for anything in development, but you guys put together from nothing to something. And so you all are just remarkable. The amount of dedication and commitment to your team and to your own learning, I think it just makes my teacher heart so happy. I love it so much. I think very appropriately, tonight's theme seems to be, teams, friends, relationships. Every team really talked about how they really depended on their team to help them either with the code or teach them new code or come on to help them with the project because they lost some teammates. And I'm so glad to hear that is the experience that you guys are having. I know that is my experience with TripleTen. I'm still in contact with all of my cohort that went through and gaining new friends every time I do one of these. So I'm glad to see that it's still going strong. Thank you all in the YouTube for watching. You guys are so talkative and chatty, and I just love it. So thank you guys so much. Remember to vote in that chat there for your favorite project. Lord knows I'm getting text messages that are already voting as well. In the student chat in our Discord, you'll be able to vote there. So watch out for those polls. And then all of our project judging will go on next week. And then our results are going to be on November 29th, 10 a.m. Eastern time in the Discord and in the social. Okay. So make sure that you are looking for those things there. I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of my friends at TripleTen, since we're on a Friendsgiving kind of a jam. They put in a lot of work behind the scenes, and I just want to make sure that they are able to kind of get their love as well. So we've got Devin, who is my OG partner from the beginning, ride or die. And then we've got Alina, Alyssa, Olivia, Danila, Nadia, of course, and Ulia also, of course. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. My name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram, and you can probably find my cat trying to break or pick the locks that we've put on the cabinets. Haha. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope you guys continue on your projects. Thanks so much.
I just wanted to say something since you guys are all still on. By the way, that was amazing. Like all of the projects that I saw, I was like, wow, they got back end involved. They got it was really cool. You guys made it super entertaining and cool to watch. Now that we're not recording, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
Good job, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Bye, y'all. Have a good
Great
night.
job, guys. How do we go and see the everybody else's projects? Like if we want to go and look at them, is there a list going to be
Yes, we will
posted?
have those in the Discord, I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you.
I agree. I'm going to go steal some code myself.